Hi everyone, this is Osler Ortez, a state corn agronomist at Ohio State. And this afternoon, towards the end of August 2025, I am standing just outside of our Battle for the Belt 2.0. That's a replanting decisions project that we have, multiple seeding rates, multiple planting dates. From a quick walk inside the plots, I realized two things. One, tassel formation and tassel development seems to be properly here. I know there was a lot of discussion about tassel grab happening in some parts of the state. We saw it ourselves in some of our other research locations, not here. So let's keep that in mind. Good tassel development, no tassel grab this year in the plots where we are located. Second point, I was able from a 20-25 minute walk, I was able to collect multiple ears that have abnormal ear development. And these 2 points are important because if we have tassel grab happening in our fields, we should be considering now, this is good time of the season to go out, scout fields, and check for the ear development. Tassel grab can limit pollination, and that limitation in the pollination process can lead to abnormal ears in corn. And abnormal ears not only look ugly, as I will show some examples, they also reduce crop yield. So we will review a few of the examples that I was able to pull out of this field here in Wooster, Ohio. And let's start with the first one. For the first one, we have what we know as a tassel ear. There is in place of the tassel, there is an ear that actually forms. This plant, by the way, it was pretty much close to the border. This is a typical symptom that we can find towards field borders and field edges. The second symptom that I was able to find inside the field, again, that's me looking and cherry picking. It took me some time to get to these examples. The second example is what we call silk clipping. Basically, insects came out, cut those silks, and we might wonder if these silks will be leading towards proper pollination. We will find out later on in the season if this was an issue for you. The next example I was able to pull out, we will call this incomplete kernel set or zipper ears. Incomplete kernel set, usually there are spots in those ears where there are empty, without kernels, without proper kernel formation. Those empty spaces will likely be filled by other kernels that were properly pollinated. I was not able to find a better example, but you see here there are some spots where kernels were pollinated and kernels are being developed. I should say ovules were pollinated and kernels are being developed, but at the same time there are some empty spots. Something that is also happening here, as we can see this here pretty much at the dent stage, there is kernel abortion happening. We see yellow kernels in the base, they are achieving a solid dent stage, but also those kernels in the tip, they are being aborted. So that suggests some sort of stress happening out in that field. Next symptom, zipper ears. Usually zipper ears will go from the top to the base. In this case, it's about halfway through. You see that separation in terms of the number of kernels extending in those rows. We have fewer rows in this example. And again, zipper ears, normally that symptom will show all the way to the base. In this case, only part of it. This is probably one of the most typical symptoms that we normally see out there in our fields. That is tip back ears. Here we have a solid 2 inches of tip back in this particular example. We need to be careful because some tip back is usually a sign that we were pushing our seeding rate high enough. However, we gotta be careful whenever this is being excessive. Tip back can be excessive. I have seen it all the way to half the length of the ear. We don't want that. Having some tip back is okay in the top. Having too much tip back is not okay. And that again can also be a sign of stress for that particular plant. Next in the list, this is a nice example. There was mechanical damage that happened in the primary ear. This was the uppermost ear. Mechanical damage happened, tank broke in half. Right? And what happens in that case when the plant fails to produce the primary ear, it will go into the secondary ear, this one right here, and see what happened. That secondary ear didn't develop properly. Rather, it developed what we call a multi-ear or a bouquet ear. Those are 3 different ears connected to the same ear shank. Usually these ears are not very productive. This one seems to be doing okay, but in most cases, bouquet ears are not conducive to high yields. We have tested this in controlled conditions, and that's usually the case. Finally, it seems that we are getting the typical ones towards the end. This is what we call as a short husk. This is an ear that the husk did not fully cover the ear. We have approximately, let's say, 5-ish, 10% exposure of that tip in the ear. Some hybrids will do that as a way to facilitate drying process. That can also bring disadvantages. There are pros and cons. The disadvantage being there is kernel damage in that tip, there is moisture access, there can be pathogen development, and a sort of things that could happen in this particular case. Some hybrids have this characteristic very clear, some hybrids don't. An extreme case, I have seen short husk all the way 90% short and only little bit of husk cover in the base. That's the worst case scenario that can happen. Those grains will not be healthy. That yield will not be there. So just giving a summary and a quick overview of what I found visiting this field. Again, we have 5 different planting dates behind me and multiple seeding rates from low to high. So it offers a good opportunity to find this kind of funny looking ears. One of the bottom lines is that whenever there is any type of stress happening to the crop, that can usually be translated into an abnormalities like this one, or in other cases, grab tassels and incomplete kernel set, poor pollination. We have some resources available. We have some resources available that you can consult if you are having issues with abnormal ears. We will put a link to this poster. It's in our university website. We also have developed some more recent resources on the topic. I will be sharing that as part of this video and article in this coming week.